Hello again. In Britain, marriages between cousins, although legal, are the object of a popular taboo as steering closer than is comfortable towards incest. Very few marriages in Britain among white people are between cousins, roughly one in 25,000. Most of us would find the idea of marrying our uncle's children quite unacceptable and a bit yucky into the bargain. Not so among this country's Pakistani community. Over half of all marriages in Britain between people of Pakistani heritage are between either first or second cousins. There is a terrible price to be paid for this, one which we, of course, as taxpayers, foot the bill. In 2014, the result of a research project into the alarming number of young children dying in the Midland city of Birmingham was published. The report of the work, which was carried out in large part by the Enhanced Genetic Services Project, under the auspices of the National Health Service in Birmingham, was shocking. It was found that the rate of stillbirths and infant deaths, definitely or probably due to cousin marriages between people of Pakistani heritage, was 38 times that of white European babies. 38 times as many. Over half of school children of Pakistani heritage in Britain are the product of cousin marriages, and the incidence of genetic birth defects is 10 times that of the white British population. The infant mortality rate for babies of Pakistani origin born in Britain is combined with a very high number of stillbirths in which a baby is born dead. Not only that, but babies born to parents of Pakistani heritage account for a third of all babies with genetic birth defects in Britain. Reflect for a moment on this figure. Just 3% of the population have 33% of the babies with genetic defects. Consider just for a moment the financial cost alone to the National Health Service. A baby born to parents of Pakistani heritage is roughly 10 times more likely to be born with genetic defects, which in many cases lead to disability and a shortened lifespan. Why does this cost us a lot of money? Well, academic underachievement in this community is widespread, and according to a survey of children in English schools a few years ago, profound multiple learning difficulties are much more common among Pakistani and Bangladeshi children. This is because half of those children are the product of cousin marriages. There has been growing unease about this, and the National Health Service produced a report on the subject and guidance for people considering marrying their cousins. It has been suggested that the law ought to be changed so that cousin marriages are reclassified as incest and therefore illegally. Last week, guidance published by the NHS England Genomics Education Programme, who really ought to stick to matters relating to genetics and health, tried their best not to condemn this practice. On the website, people were running a blog and they were commenting on this whole affair, bending over backward to justify what was happening rather than to offend any Pakistanis. They were so worried about upsetting Muslims that they looked around for good things to say about cousin marriages. They managed to come up with things wholly unrelated to health, saying that first cousin marriage is linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages. They said too that there are, and I quote, economic advantages. Resources, property, and inheritance can be consolidated rather than diluted across households. And that also banning the practice would stigmatize certain communities and cultural traditions. You could, of course, say precisely the same thing for marriages between brothers and sisters or fathers and daughters. Here is an alien and imported practice which costs us many millions of pounds each year, both because of the health problems and also the educational difficulties which it causes. And yet even the National Health Service dare not speak out and condemn what is happening in case they appear racist. The post relating to this has now been removed from the website of that particular NHS site, although various newspapers report on it. I give a link to a news item about this matter in the description to this video, along with one or two references about matters which I have mentioned here.